for a controlling stake with at least 51% stake in the merged entity, and Disney owing up to 49% stake. What will be the future of the joint entity, and what does it mean for the viewers of the two OTT platforms? Let's talk about that. My colleague Krishna Kumar continues to be with us here in the studio. Also joining us is Karan Taurani, Senior VP, Elara Capital. Karan, thank you very much for taking time out. Good afternoon. Let's begin by understanding what happens to the viewers of the two separate entities. I think Krishna and I were having some sort of a brainstorming and discussion. Now, if I watch Jio and I also watch perhaps Disney and I'm subscribed to the two of them, do I continue paying the subscription fee for the two of them separately? Do they become one streaming entity? What really happens?
And the only thing apart from that I want to ask is, you had a Jio even making a name for itself because of all the important properties it took away from Disney Hotstar in the first place, IPL and all the HBO content. Now, after taking all of them away, it's coming here, and the way the merger is done, it's 51-49 as far as the whole thing is concerned. So in that sense, can we say safely now that it's going to be all Jio and Disney Hotstar will probably cease to exist?
Hi, good afternoon. So if you look at what is going to happen herein is that both these companies are going to come together, if at all they do, as per the media reports. I think the bigger focus will be the scale on digital. So if you look at Jio Cinema, currently that's a platform, for the masses. Because of IPL, they've been able to attract a very large user base. If you look at Hotstar, they've lost a large chunk of user base, after losing IPL media, digital media rights, which is. So I think what's going to happen here is that I think they will go to the freemium route. I don't think that they will be able to go completely free because there's a lot of premium content attached to this. Apart from IPL, Hotstar also brings a lot of premium global content on the table here. And if you know Jio Cinema also, they've offered IPL free. They offered, the local content free. But for the global content, they are charging a subscription fee of about 1,000 rupees per year. So I think there are going to be two ends to this. I think at one end, you'll be offered all the massy content free of cost. And at the other end, premium global content, will be charged. And eventually, as things go by, as the market gets more consolidated, they will even start charging for IP and other kind of sports content, which they would have on the platform.
Right, but it doesn't make sense to have two different platforms in the first place if you're going to be one merged entity in the country.
I don't think they will operate as two different platforms. I think, Hotstar, could get merged into Jio Cinema as an app. So if you look at Jio Cinema, they are trying to become an aggregator because they've got multiple varieties of content. They've also merged, Voot into Jio Cinema. So I think Jio Cinema potentially here, could be the mother app who would have different kind of offerings and can actually give a fight to YouTube because the digital ecosystem is all about aggregation. It's all about the big variety of content that you have. And it's all about scale, right? I mean, if you're able to get that large audience base, which is, niche and massy in nature, you will get a large advertising share as well as far as dollars are concerned.
So Shweta, we were right in that sense. We are not going to pay two different subscriptions. We are going to eventually pay one subscription. The only question is, will Jio change its subscription plans post the acquisition, post the merger into Disney Hotstar?
Absolutely. Will the plans change, Karan? And also talking about consolidation largely, I mean, you're looking at players and all of them, competing in a very tight market, in a very tight spot, not getting enough revenue per user. And that has been a concern not just for Disney, which is now selling its India unit, but also for other players who are in the fray, including your Netflix and subsequently the bigger players. What happens here on what are your vision of what Indian OTT space will look like? Will there be more mergers and acquisitions, or are we going to stop at it with Reliance and Disney?
So I think, if you look at the numbers broadly, if you, let's say, Zee-Sony merger goes through and let's say, Disney RIL deal also goes through, both these mega entities will have a market share of more than 65% on the linear TV side. And both these entities will have a market share of more than 40% on the OTT side. So I think this is good enough for now, as far as digital is concerned, as far as the OTT ecosystem is concerned. But there is still a lot to be made here. I mean, if you look at the OTT market, it's still very fragmented. We still have more than 20 plus platforms. I think these smaller platforms will kind of see a big negative impact herein because they will not be able to survive or sustain in this market because the content cost is phenomenally high. As I mentioned, OTT is all about scale of all about the kind of content you have and all about the kind of large audience base that you command to. So I think basis that the smaller OTT platforms could actually partner with the larger OTT platforms. So there is some kind of a potential over there in terms of a partnership or some sort of a consolidation which is there. Now, as far as the ecosystem goes, as I say, all this content cannot come free. Geo Cinema came into the market last year. They started offering IPL free. And that was a very big disruptive move because if you're offering the most premium content free, how do you expect other platforms to actually charge a subscription fee? How do you expect them to kind of raise your ARPUs? Which is why global giants kind of faced a tough time. And we've seen Netflix also time and again over the last 3 to 4 years. They've had two rounds of price cut rather. So we don't expect any further rounds of price cut. But what's going to happen here is that maybe in the first year, after the consolidation or the partnership or the merger is done with, they might still offer the content free and some sort of content could be kept on a pay-based model. But eventually, they will have to start charging customers for the content because you can't really rely only on advertising because the digital advertising market is fragmented. There is commerce, social search, a lot of competition over there. And because the
Right.
content cost is so high, you have to build a sticky, subscriber revenue as well. So I think that's going to be the focus. Firstly, get into the market, get all the variety of content, give the content free of cost first, and then start charging the customer.
All right. So that is, of course, how Karan is expecting the merged entity will behave, offer some content for free, some would be premium paid content, and perhaps you could be looking at paying just one-time fee to watch either Disney India or the Jio platform under the aegis of the merged entity.
Looks like Disney Hotstar is going to be history. Looks like Jio is the future that we are all walking into.
Absolutely. Karan Taurani, absolute pleasure listening to you. Thank you very much for taking time out. And with that, it's a break here. We'll be back after this very, very short break. Stay tuned.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
It was my 14th birthday.
On birthday, daughter waits
Home missing father.
He was carrying a cake for his daughter.
49